Righto, mate. Let's get into the Bears. 1986, was it? Someone contacted you from Australia whilst you're overseas. Who was it that contacted you, and how did it come about that you got talking about coming to play for the Bears?
Yeah, it was probably sometime early to mid, in the early part of '87. It was Frank Stanton that gave me a call.
Yep.
There'd been an injury to the fullback at the time.
And what was your relationship? Did you know much about Frank at that stage? Like,
Oh,
obviously you crossed paths
Frank,
in.
Yeah, well, Frank, of course, had been the coach of Manly, and then in '78 he coached me in the Australian side, and so yeah, I knew him from that perspective, and
Yep.
certainly knew he was coaching North. But when he called up, and knowing the quality of the coach he is, that I said, yeah, mate, I'd be happy to come back. I'd love to finish off at Sydney football and give something back to another club. And Bears has always been a good club from the outside, so I'd like to see what it's like on the inside.
Oh, good stuff. So, so when was your first year at the Bears? 87?
87, yeah, which was pretty much a half a season.
Yeah. And I was going to, well, you just stole my thunder there, because in your time at the Bears, I believe you only scored 6 tries, like in 3 years. Like, what happened there?
Les Kiss and Andrew Simons loved me.
Oh, right, yes, happy days. That's right. And
most of those tries I would have scored would have been coming off Clayton Friend or off Mark Graham or someone like that.
Yeah.
Adrian Toole and Gavin Jones and the like, because I just love to support players, and that was what I was taught when I was younger. Get in the middle, and ask Tommy Radonicus and those West blokes that's all I really like to do as a fullback, is get in close and always be around because what that does is that then takes the pressure off the bloke with the ball from the defence. But if they do come in and it gets an arm free or gets an opportunity, that you then slip away.
Takes play inside the corner. Friend, Florimo, picking up Hansen. Hansen's gone straight through. Got support from Dorahy, and Dorahy's in to score. Oh, how sweet it is! The veteran John Dorahy. Today's the day the Teddy Bears have their picnic. Now Dorahy, with his conversion of his own try, again makes no mistake. He's become a point-scoring machine. 30 points to nothing. And there's a bit of disarray at the moment. Clayton Friend. Back to Thomas, to Graham, on to Bella. We're only about 4 metres away. Dorahy goes for a drop at goal. And it's successful. So that's Frank Stanton's plan, is to amass as many field goals as possible.
The replay will show the lack of urgency in the play right throughout this game. The pass was a shocker. It landed. Dorahy had all the time in the world to regather and put the extra point over.
Yeah, and I said Gary French, I meant Brett French. So
Brett French, yeah.
Brett French. I'm getting old,
Brett
mate.
and Gary?
I'm getting old. So, good old skull.
Was it Ian?
Ian.
Sorry,
Ian.
Gary is
Yes,
getting
mate.
Don't know Gary French.
Oh, that's all right. And you also still had the ability to goal kick, and you were one of the last of the toe pokers as well.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed goal kicking. I think it was a way for me to add something to the team. It was a way for me to both put pressure on and take pressure off me as a player, because if I kicked it, I felt good and confident and got going. If I missed it, I'd kick myself up the backside, and so now you've got to prove something different.
Now, when I was looking up the Wikipedia and on the internet, you didn't make your debut for North until round 10. Like, how come it took so long? Were you carrying an injury coming from the UK or something?
I was coming back from the UK. I finished at the Hodgkinson Rovers in the April of '87.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got back,
So you had to get match fit. You had to kind of.
Oh no, Frank threw me straight in, and I was pretty much match fit because I'd been playing a whole season over there. In '86-7 we played about 35 games, I think it was, all up. So yeah, I was match fit.
I remember being at boarding school, and it was compulsory to watch the news, and I saw it on the news that North had signed yourself and Kerry Boasted to come and play for the club, and it was like, oh wow, we got these former internationals are all coming to lead the way for us and things like that.
Yeah,
so
Dorahy's a good bloke to have.
Oh, it was good. And when you were at North, you made the New South Wales countryside. 16 years after you first represented New South Wales country. So that must have been a bit of a feather in your cap. And the distance from when you first played country and then 16 years later, you're getting recalled into the representative honours. That must have been a bit of a thrill.
It was a hell of a surprise, I must say. Gary Jack was the fullback at the time, and he was injured. A little bit like 78, to be honest. Graham Eady was the fullback, and he got injured, and I got an opportunity to represent Australia. And Gary Jack got injured in this instance, and I got the opportunity to represent country origin.
Oh, awesome. Now, one of the other infamous, famous things that a lot of people wanted to know about is the fake run from the dead ball. Like the ball's gone over the dead ball, you wander over, pick it up as it's gone over the dead ball, and then taken off like a bullet. Like, had you practiced or planned that, or was this just a spare of the moment thing? Because there's footage of it. We played a quarter final in the Panasonic Cup against Manly. We actually, there's that word again, the dark side, and we actually towed them up 14-8 or something like that, and you've pulled it off in that game. Do you remember that situation?
I remember this, Ross, as though it was yesterday.
Oh, awesome.
Honestly, it's one of the best moments in my football.
What, playing for Australia, New South Wales, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's right up there, honestly.
Excellent.
Because, one, it's the funniest thing I've ever done in my career, absolutely. So, yeah, Manly kicked through, and I remember one of the two Manly blokes who were flying down at me, it was Owen Cunningham, was one of them. And I don't remember the other guy. Anyway, yeah, the ball was heading towards the dead in goal, and it got to within a ball's width of dead in goal, and it stopped. So all I did was just point, and I looked over the touch judge, looked back at the referee, and then I just nonchalantly picked it up and turned around and started to walk. Well, Owen Cunningham, the other bloke, stopped and turned around. Thought, oh, it's dead, and they're waiting for the referee to blow the whistle. The referee's looking at the touch judge, and when they turned around, I just took off like a hare, and the Manly players are singing out to him, turn around, he's running, and then I passed the ball to whoever it was on the right side coming down, or their left side. He turned first, and so I had to pass it to my right, and I passed it to Greg Florimo, and he took off up the park, and yeah, I don't know whether we scored on that set, but we certainly scored within.
We've got a clip of it. And if I can fit it in here somewhere.
Sets himself for a drop goal. Just couldn't lift it out of the mud. Won't go dead. Dorahy's got some work to do to get out of there. He tried to fake it and he got away with it.
Yeah, I shall. Yeah, because I think it went from the right-hand side of the field to the left-hand side of the field, and Pete McPhail scored over in the corner.
Okay.
And it was awesome. But I think you did it more than once. I think you tried it once or twice.
That's the only one I can remember for obvious reasons.
I've got it in my memory bank somewhere there. I remember you did it maybe at North Sydney Oval, and you nearly got to it was going to be like a dropout somewhere, and you nearly got to the quarter line and took off again. Right. I vaguely remember that being a TV game, but I could be wrong. But
I'd love to see footage.
Oh, I know. We've been searching for it high and low, and in that time. In that period of the Bears, is there any other memorable games that you can kind of recall that you thought, geez, that was a good game, or geez, that was a good win, or anything?
Look, I think at that time, Frank Stanton was trying to get a winning culture in and change the way that we played the game to create the wins, and be more methodical, be more professional, and let's work as a team. So every win was
a good one.
A good one.
Yeah.
And
us as fans, we appreciate it. Trust me, we loved it.
Oh yeah, but no, look, I can't remember specifically, to be brutally honest. Unfortunately,
that's just sort of.
Probably if I saw some clips, I'd remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember coming off Mark Graham once at North Sydney Oval. We were running north, and I brought the ball back from deep down our end and got tackled. Then I started to support, for an opportunity for a couple of tackles, and then was it Mark, or it might have been Adrian too. And anyway, they got through and just turned and offloaded to me, and then I just went through.
Because you were super fast
fullback.
over the first 10 metres. Like you
Yeah.
used to take off like a bullet.
But after last week's 1-point loss to Eastern Suburbs, the Bears came out fighting. John Dorahy converted his own try after just 5 minutes of play.
Yeah, and so I just got through and then beat the fullback by giving him a little right for a big left.
Ah, happy days. And from those days, you would travel up from Wollongong to North Sydney Oval and stuff like that?
Yeah, hour and a quarter.
Hour and a quarter, and then home again, or did you stay in town?
No, I came home. Went across the road to Percy's and had a drink or two, and as you did back then.
Let the traffic settle?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, good stuff. And was there any, who are the real characters of back in the Bears, training? There would have been some funny stories and some funny things that happened, and, probably stuff you can't say.
Can't tell stories.
No.
No. I know I was pretty straight A's, to be brutally honest with everyone. I didn't get too involved. I love what the guys did, and I think I'm probably in that position of life where the AGE thing gets me.
Yeah.
I've forgotten a few things that I'd
Oh,
like
mate.
to remember, and I love to go to training.
Yeah.
That was important. I love to go to the game. I love to go be part of
The whole theatrics of
the Bears group, and of course rugby league in general.
Yeah. So we'll just before we close up now, in your playing days, did you, other than what you said about your neck and things like that earlier, when we were off the camera thing, did you get any nasty injuries that that you're kind of hanging on to today that you think, oh geez, I'm still a bit sore from that? Because I know there's a few blokes that had hip replacements and knee shoulder replacements and this and that and the other. How are you going physically and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I'm going all right physically. I've got a heart bug on at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm getting that monitored. But I broke my ankle in '76, 2 weeks out from getting married, so that was a big one. I've had a hip replacement, been a goal kicker, I suppose. I've broken both cheekbones. I've broken my nose, as you can see, 3 times. I've had a fractured skull, funny enough, playing against North Sydney out at Campbelltown. I was playing for North Sydney against West out at Campbelltown.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Clarkey was the 5'8".
Jeff Clark,
and he came across. I was the last line of defence, and he came across to help, and as I went in, he came in, and his knee hit my skull, and I crashed out, and I've gone like this. Holy dooly, there's a big hole there. It's still there. Fortunately, it was only the sinus bone.
Yeah.
It wasn't the skull to the brain as such. So I've had some injuries, but aside from that,
you're looking well.
None of that hurts, thankfully.
You're still looking well.
No, thank you. Yeah.
So in wrapping up, so what does John Dorahy do with himself these days? What you retired? What do you do with yourself these days? Lots of golf and this and that and the other. Are you still working or doing anything?
Still working. 2 jobs if you like. I've always had 2 jobs since I was at school, going to school.
You're not being a butcher
playing
anymore?
Footy. No,
Still got all your fingers?
Still got all those. Got out of the meat game. My brother-in-law and I got into it in 1977 after I married his sister, and we bought the shop at Lidcombe, and then we bought a second shop over at Colorado Plateau. When I went across the dark side and lived over there. But we got out of that when I come back to Wollongong, because I wasn't going to travel up and back to Sydney and all that sort of thing. And that's it, aside from that, currently I'm Sales Director Australia and New Zealand for a US company in cash transaction hardware.
So you get a few free trips to the States every now and then?
Normally I'd be going away this coming week.
Whereabouts in the US are they based that you go to?
They're in Melbourne, in Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah.
But generally this time of year I'd be going to Vegas, and when I first started with the company 16 years ago, I'd go up to Toronto, Canada.
All the places I go to, I love going up. Yeah, I go to the States all the time.
Place, and,
I love going to the States.
Yeah, enjoy it, and great associates and great company to work for, and I also sit on council down here at Wollongong, been deputy mayor for 3 years.
And you still got anything to do with footy down here in Wollongong?
Not now. I stepped off the board of West Illawarra back in January after 20 years. I thought that was long enough. you know, that was as close as I got to rugby league as such for gee whiz.
And I believe you got a book out that you're going to show us that people can buy.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can buy it, but I've certainly got several copies left.
Well, we'll put that in the Den library, and I'm sure Den members can borrow it and have a read of it at some stage. So, mate, we'll leave it there. We really appreciate your time this morning, and thanks for catching up with us. You know, we love talking to the old Bears players, and you're definitely one of our favourites. So, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
And thank you to the Bears Den, and go the Bears.
All the best. Cheers, mate. Bye.